if you're a PC master cuck, I'm going to give you a trigger warning right now, all right? Okay? PS4 is more efficient at running VR than PC.
Shots fired.
Now, this isn't my opinion, okay? This is fact. Maybe. I don't know. It's from people from PSVR, so maybe not. Let me get into it. Dr. Richard Marks, the head of PlayStation Magic Lab at Sony.
Richard Marks.
Yeah. Karl Marx. Mm-hmm. Recently spoke at length about the technical capabilities of the PSVR headset during a presentation at the 2016 Vision VR AR Summit.
Yeah! What a name.
Yeah.
Jesus. VRR.
Okay.
The VRR Summit.
So,
Christ.
if you're going to get triggered to Dr. Richard Marks or two of the other people that I'm going to mention. Anyway, during his presentation, Marks revealed that the PS4 was effectively 60% more efficient than the same spec PC computers at handling VR processing. He also said that the PlayStation VR headset would have a 100-degree field of view, and thanks to being optimized around the PS4's fixed hardware, would have an incredibly low latency of less than 18 milliseconds. All right. Yeah. Low. Okay? So, the only new hardware needed to make the PlayStation VR headset work with the PS4 will be included within the device. And lastly, the external processor will mostly be concerned with processing 3D audio. This means that no PS4 CPU, GPU cycles will be spent on processing audio. Okay? So, then he goes into, or another PlayStation VR headset developer goes into, about that he spoke on the device's technological capabilities compared to other VR headsets in a Reddit comment thread. Okay, and he said that, quote, PSVR is extremely close to being on par with Vive and the Rift, with a GTX 970 based on the tests that I've done, he's done. In brief, the PSVR only requires about 1/4 of the rendered target size that the Vive requires. This has to do with the display that they are using that can run 60 Hz game at 120 Hz, in addition to the 90 Hz mode. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep going, because this is the main point that they're making, is that there are other things to consider as well. So, if you want to go further, he says. For example, the PS4 has hardly any driver overhead compared to Windows, so it's a fully dedicated gaming system that can focus purely on performance. For example, the draw calls on the PS4 are faster than with the DX11, which is, it's the program on PC that essentially runs games, DX11, DX12,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is something that a lot of people don't realize. PlayStation VR headset developer Yantra VR, which is his Reddit username, wrote that, quote, they have also started beefing up their small conversation box with the processing power to help do some of the heavy lifting, end quote. That's the external processing unit for the PSVR.
The big block.
So, with all that, the main point that they're trying to make is that since the PlayStation 4 is a dedicated console for gaming, right, that only has to really worry about the game that it's running and very little overhead for the OS compared to running a bunch of things for Windows and driver software, whatever.
Yeah, everything a PC does.
Yeah, and that it also has an external processing unit that can handle a lot of that overhead so that the PS4 can up-res the graphics, up-res the refresh rate, lower the latency of the game, therefore making PlayStation 4 60% more efficient at running those since it doesn't have to worry about all that than PCs.
Wow. That's crazy. It makes sense.
It's a lot of tech language that...
Yeah. So, I hope...
But the way you put it made sense.
Yeah, like I try not to include too many of... So if you don't understand anything, I'm sorry, but like...
No, it makes sense.
That's...
Basically, the PS4 is a dedicated gaming machine, and it can focus simply on the gaming, and then PCs, they have all this other shit running in the background.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it makes sense.
Ready? I'm gonna give you an example. A really bad one, okay? So say you're a writer, okay? And you are just focused on one project, okay? The project being VR. You're in a room and you're writing something, okay? You're going to have a much easier time writing and completing your task in a quiet room by yourself rather than being in a room with like 60,000 other people and you can't concentrate because there's a million other things going on. Does that dumb it down a little more?
Makes sense.
Okay. So, anyway, the other reason I'm bringing this up is because on March 15th, there's a press event for PlayStation VR.
They're probably going to reveal the price, the release date.
Right, which is what we're expecting.
Yeah, because GameStop CEO revealed that it's coming out this fall, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said, yeah.
Supposedly, but take that with a grain of salt from GameStop.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting.
No, it is interesting, and it makes complete sense, I think.
Yeah.
So,
But I found this like on the fucking nether realms of the internet, so there wasn't too much talk about it because I don't think a lot of people know about it per se. So
Yeah, I didn't hear about it at all.
yeah,
so
it was an article on a really obscure website that I found, and then I started doing some more research on it, and I found these like the other Reddit articles and whatnot. So
yeah, a lot of people were wondering what that little box was.
Yeah.
With the PSVR unit.
So it just handles processing power so that the PS4 can dedicate itself on the game, the look of the game, and which is why they can give that latency so low.
Gotcha.
You want to make any predictions?
Yeah,
Price?
I'd like to.
Price and release window? I'll say window. Dates too specific.
Okay.
Release window? I think it's coming out this year. I think it's coming out holiday, so fall 2016. Probably closer to holiday.
I think November. I think Black Friday is going to be a good time to sell a lot of units.
Think it'll be released before that?
Yeah. And I think it's going to be $500. I would like it to be $400 or $300, but it will be $500.
What about you, Steven? Release window?
I know there was a rumor in the past about it coming out in June or in the summertime. But I don't know how much that's been vindicated at all. Fucking A. I'll say October.
October?
That's good.
That's right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But has the highest chance of being wrong, probably. Oh, and price, I lean towards Brett. After seeing that the Vive being $800, the VR I could see being $400 or $450.
Yeah.
It's been indicated it'll be the price of a console. A PS4 was $400. Xbox One was $500 when it first came out. So
Yeah.
Now it's like $250 you can get it for.
We have Oculus at $600. You have the Vive at $800. And I think we're going to have the PSVR at no less than $399.99. I'm going on the low end.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I pretty much can guarantee it's going to be more than that, but I'm going to take the bet on the low end, and that's what I'm going to do.
I think they want to hit the $399 mark. I think they want to hit low because they know it'll sell, but
And it also depends, if they're willing to take a loss on it or not, which actually might be a smart idea for them in the long run. If they're so invested in VR, right, they might want to consider taking an initial loss on it to get in the hands of more people, and then eventually they're going to figure out how to manufacture it for less and make it more, whatever.
definitely.
But maybe initially, if they take a loss on it, they'll get it into the hands of more people. Maybe you could see it as low as $350.
I'm almost...
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think...
I see where you're coming from, but I think...
No, I was just
Go
gonna.
ahead.
I was gonna say that I might even wait to get it. Think about like the Kinect. I don't know. I feel like they might make a second version of the PSVR and it might be slicker. And
The thing
Yeah.
with
I was going to say, like, the counter argument is that a lot of people have said VR's first wave is going to be, like, the most narrowed niche consumer base. And out of the how many PS4 sold
A lot.
over 30 million?
A lot.
Yeah.
How much of that install base is, like, day one, I'm going to spend console tier money on a headset that might not have much strong software support. In the
No
first
more than
6 months.
5%, in my opinion.
Well, listen, you got that, but then you also got the people that want it for Christmas. Think about all the kids that want it and their parents.
How
are
much of
gonna
their
get it for
parents
them.
would be like, this is too fucking expensive right
Well, if they
now.
already have the PS4.
And there's the worry that it makes people like sick and stuff. I think there's...
I don't think that's.
I think there... For parents, I think there could be some taboo there.
Seriously, I don't think that.
Maybe, yeah. And if there's not like a kid game for it, like, why would they buy it for their kid? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, I really don't see a large percentage of the install base purchase.
I think it'll be... I don't think they will want to take a loss on it. So I don't think they will.
fucking hoverboards are a thing, and they want them for Christmas.
Hoverboards.
If people are literally asking for those for Christmas, $500, $600 scooters with no fucking handlebars.
Yeah, and there's a whole line of them that like fucking heated up and caught on fire.
Yeah, but like, that's true. That's irrelevant though. Like, what I'm trying to say is, if people have, people have PS4s. They're selling like crazy. People have these consoles already. People bought them for $400, $300. Why wouldn't if you want it and you want it for Christmas, I think that the demand's going to be high. It's going to be like the Wii almost, where people are going to want it. And it's going to
Because
it's not going to sell like the Wii. I'm saying people are going to want it. Like
the general
it's-
public,
and it's going to be hard to get.
It has so much more tech than the Wii ever had.
No, that's true. I'm saying I think that it's going to be hard to find if you want it because they're not going to make a lot of them. They're going to sell out, and it's going to be the item that people want for Christmas.
but the general public, number one, thinks VR is gimmicky. They don't understand the full concept
That's not
of
true.
it.
They won't
No,
until
the general public, the majority purchasing demographic of VR is not going to be people that know anything about VR.
I think it's higher than you guys think. Google
No,
Cardboard.
I'm not saying it's. No, I'm saying that the price makes it niche. The concept
Oh, yeah.
will be there when it runs on this phone. Everyone's gonna fucking have a headset.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a few years.
But it is running on phones. You can get like the Samsung where you just stick your phone in and it's a VR unit.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with like Google
But
Cardboard.
it's not gonna be widespread yet as it's
Yeah.
first coming out.
I think that the market's there. I think the price isn't. If the price isn't right, obviously it's not going to be there. I'm not saying that everyone's going to want a $900 Oculus Rift or a Vive. I'm saying this is a PlayStation item. It's going to be like $400, $500 in my prediction. People already have PS4s. This is being hyped up. It's not getting shit on yet. There's a lot of games coming out for it. I think that's another thing that is very important. The games got to be there, and it sounds like they are. Okay? I think that they're not going to make many units. I think it's going to be the holiday item that people are going to want. And it's going to break the mold of mainstream VR. Like, it's going to be the mainstream VR.
I agree that it's going to be the most accessible because you don't need a fucking $1,500 plus PC to run it.
Exactly.
But there is still a high cost barrier. Like you need $400 for a PS4. You might need Move controllers. I don't know if we're going to talk about the patented glove controller that could be.
The guy from PlayStation though, the Magic Lab said that everything that needs to run it is going to be included.
So we're going to get the camera. Do we need the camera?
I'm not sure. I know you at least need Move controllers, but he said everything that you need with it is going to be it's going to be sold with it, which is smart because
You think they'll do a super PS4 hardware bundle with VR?
Yeah.
And have like Move controllers?
Absolutely.
How much would that be? $800, $900 probably?
It'll probably be a value. It might be more worth it.
Yeah, it'd probably be like $800 though, maybe $700.
Well, we don't know the price of the VR yet. That's what's holding it back.
But anyway, March 12th was it? March 15th is the conference, the press event.
Mm-hmm.
Got a big juicy stamp on that date on the calendar because that's going to be interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'll make or break it.
I agree.
Because it's coming out, when we said, and it's going to be like $800, and everyone's going to be like, no. So,
Dude, if it's $800,
no one's getting it. That will never
calling fucking Shuhei myself.
Now, real quick, what if now they surprise us? This thing's worth $250. What do you guys think about that? No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying if it.
I would honestly start to doubt the technical capability almost.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying the dude's lying.
What if they did though? Do you think
if it sold at $250, it would fucking sell like fucking cunt cakes, dude.
And maybe they're looking at it like that. Maybe they're going to make it cheaper because they know they'll make
Well, that
money.
depends. Again, depends.
Sony
if
recently
they want
wasn't
loss.
even in the black. They weren't making.
Oh yeah.
Like they are not.
PS3.
They don't do really well besides like the
PlayStation.
PlayStation divisions. Like they're
Yeah.
strong.
They're
one of
pretty
their
much just
strongest divisions.
PlayStation.
And
now.
PS3s, they were like trying to still pay for their losses for the PS3 and stuff. So
Yeah.
They're not going to go low. They might do. You talk about like the blue ocean strategy of like artificially having not as much stuff. But I don't. I think they're going into this with like, let's see how like the reaction is, and so like they're not going to manufacture like 10 million at start. Yeah. It's going to be like niche, and if there's a demand, they're going to be like, all right, we have more ready. Let's have this shit ready for the holiday. Like big push. So
also, if they're smart, they need to get people to try it before they sell it. So whether they put it in GameStop or they
Best
have their
Buys.
own whatever, they need to do something like that. Kind of like, not that it needed any help, but the Smash Bros events, like at Best Buys and stuff like that, they need stuff like that where people can come in and publicly try it so that they get a better understanding. Because I really don't think that the general consumer population understands what it's capable of.
yeah.
I don't understand because I haven't worn it. I want to. I think
like
none of us know until we actually.
Have
No.
any of you used VR at all?
No, but I've listened to people that have used it, people that
Oh, I
I
have
trust
too.
and their opinions.
I've used VR once.
So
at
I've
Best
never
Buy.
used it.
They had the Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
You stick
The
the phone
gear
in.
thing?
Yeah, and
Oh, that's different.
the graphics were just because obviously you're using a phone as your you're looking at a phone. You know what I mean? And it was just like
Right.
it was like an underwater demo with like sharks and shit. And I was just like, it smelled like cigarettes on the inside. So let's put their face on it. Yeah, it wasn't.
It's gross.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring some wipes if they ever have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they probably announced that at the press event. So
Yeah, they'll be like, it's in stores now. Go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
March
Maybe
15th.
that might be why the GameStop CEO said he knows when it's coming out.
Did he say it's coming out in fall, or that we'll have it at fall?
He said we'll have it by fall.
So it could be out earlier, but I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows?
This is hard.
We'll see.
Predictions are a crapshoot, and you
Yeah.
always lose anyway. So
March 15th.
yeah, date to watch.